The hip-hop writer is a creator, composing understanding words of cultured brilliance, powering a rebalance of the elements equally. Pages of rejuvenated reaffirmation, simply the almighty leadership of insightful craft work that stands to build through any confrontation born to be. Yet his daily duty is as a journalist that questions properly and uses his ears to filter the real. And as the art decays by dilution, he concentrates the best again and again, exposing it in the print. Today's journalist and tomorrow's historian, he listens to share. Here is that necessary attempt executed again and again and again. This is the Power Right Show on S.STREET Media. This is your brother, the lone low life with the home-sewn garment, the Boricua with the build, the true and living God, stepping in score, Sunyas Allah, a.k.a. S.STREET Hello. And we're on S.STREET Media, the evolution of media, where every intrigue will have its own show, every incredible thought will have its own episode, and every timeless insight will be archived. And as I always say, this show is about my element of hip-hop, what I like to call the writer of art and science on music. And been doing this pretty much a quarter century. So, that's going to be an important factor, but for those that are listening and for those that will listen to later, though, this will be a show that'll either people want to listen to and see the insights, or this will just be a show that gets me in trouble. So what do you say, right? My producer's all down for it, getting us in trouble. So let's shoot for it, though. Let's go all the way out, though. You know what I mean? Before I get in trouble, though, maybe you could throw a couple of bucks my way, though. You get my book, The Filtered Real Essays from the Invisible Renaissance. It's at Amazon. If you want an autographed copy, just DM me on the Sunyas and the IG, Sunyas7, number 7, on the Twitter, or, if you're on the Facebook and you see me rolling by, between portraits of your family functions. But this is the first of many books that's going to cover the whole decade, that's going to go into this decade. I even have books that's going to go into the 2000s, which I call the Dark Ages, which is all very relevant to some of the stuff that I'll be just talking about. Before I even begin with everything, though, that we're going to talk about, I got to give a couple of shout-outs, right? Definitely got to say peace to the God, power, Planet Asia, interviewed recently by Justin Hunt, saluted me in the beginning of that. I just want to thank the God. I build with the God a lot. He's really dominating this era, and he's really, he's really one of the central cogs of elder statesmen, if you could put it like that, elder statesmen that are really guiding the excellence and the consistency of excellence that you see in so many MCs. He's that inspiration. As always, though, just for certain things I won't even say, but peace to my brother Napoleon the Legend. Has an album now with Giallo Point called Street Universe. It's dope. Another dominant year, another loaded year from Napoleon the Legend. But, and last but not least, though, before I take this off, this mask, I was wearing it because I wanted to give a thank you to Rack Low, the Godfather. I ordered the mask. He gave me some, a lot of love. Want to thank him. Got the medallion, right? Got the low life medallion on the old Polo Swiss, model. A lot of great stuff there. And a lot of patches though. So they call it, that's why I'm the lone low life with the home sewn garment though. I ain't gonna be the lone one. Not with all the ill patches he's selling though. I ain't gonna be the only lone one. But yo, I got a lot to say. So let me rip off the mask. Let's rip off the mask here. So all these bitches can hear me loud and clear. No, I just want to preface that. The wrong way. So we could lighten the mood or darken the mood, right? Yo, but I guess these commentaries, I've had to have commentaries because people have said all types of crazy stuff. Crazy stuff always happens in the media, right? But I want to start off and preface this with an insight to kind of get the idea of what I'm doing here, you know what I mean? And how it works. I was on the Facebook today, and I probably tweeted it as well, but AG the Coroner has a lot of insights he throws out there, you know what I mean? And do something I'm going to read word for word. He said today, he said, maybe the twisted things that occur within our world continue to exist because we allow that quote unquote gray area to continue living. Did this generation fight so hard for freedom of expression that we abandon way too much moral responsibility? Seems like we can't just flat out say that something is wrong anymore. There's always some other alternative way of looking at it. Do people not believe that there is any correlation between that and the world being completely out of control today? Food for thought. Now it's from AG the Coroner. I find that interesting because in the topic I'm going to address I'm going to say quickly though, but hopefully efficiently is the better word. One of the first things people always say is that, oh, well, we can't judge art though. Well, close down S.STREET media right now. You know what I mean? We can't judge art. We can't say something is this, that. Well, close down all production here. You know what I mean? Close down the livelihood. You know what I mean? The truth is that half of the great art that most people appreciate, they appreciate it because someone else explained it to them. Let's go look back. Let's go look back. You know what I mean? You're either explained it to or you're exposed to it by some wonderful, glorious looking commercial that makes it exciting for you to eat that food or to wear those clothes or to do anything else. But all people, when they develop some kind of refinement, some refinement in the culture, you know, culture and refinement, right? That they start to have a discerning eye, a discerning palate. You know what I mean? A palate that when it becomes more discernible actually allows it to appreciate more things even as it discards the previous simpleton things, right? So I preface this all to say is this. And when it comes to music, I think music is the first thing that people like to say, well, music hits people differently. Everybody has their own taste with music. To each his own. Music just has to move people. It's like we're watching Trolls World Tour movie, right? The little kids, the way they describe it for little kids. By the way, if you watch Trolls World Tour, just remember that the funk is what saved all music, right? It's a little jewel for you young kiddies out there. You know, just watch the movie though. George Clinton and the funk saved everything. It's a fact. It's all virtually mirrors real life. But the thing is this. The work of the music journalist, the work of a music historian is to really not just analyze things so that it be analyzed, but show an appreciation for things that you wouldn't know. I give you a perfect example of how something that doesn't seem that great could be greater. If you ever look up an unreleased track from Black Star, right? Kweli and Mos Def. They got a song called Little Brother, so don't get confused with the group Little Brother. The song is called Little Brother. And they sample a skit. When you hear it, if you know your hip-hop, you're like, wow, this is a skit that Pete Rock used on the Main Ingredient album. You know, so it feels like a bite, you know, like Jay Dilla produced it. It feels like he bit. But the truth is that when you learn more about it, and this is the work of the journalist, the historian, you learn that what Jay Dilla did was when Pete Rock used it only as an interlude, right? And this is a Roy Ayers sample. Roy Ayers was talking and chanting through the whole song. So the only spot that could be used was the spot that Pete Rock took for the interlude. Instead, the work that Jay Dilla did, which makes the beat kind of sound the same. If you listen to it, you're like, oh, there's no difference. It sounds the same. The difference is that Jay Dilla actually took every single open spot in the song without Roy Ayers speaking and clipped from each part and then re-looped it and chopped it up until it was a new song. So it similarly sounds like the skit. You're thinking loosely. But when you look at it, he made a more complex beat because he was able to get all those little parts and sequence them. And it's a work of genius. And he never released it. They say Jay Dilla never released it. It just got in the hands of Black Star.
and they used it because it was dope. He never released it because people would see it as like, oh, he just bit what Jay Dilla was doing. And that is analyzed very well and given great insight in that book about Jay Dilla's The Donuts book. If you ever read the 33 and the third series books, the book on Jay Dilla's Donuts is where that story is in detail. You know what I mean? But the thing is, the appreciation is what's brought about, right? So now check this, right? I had some commentary, and I was throwing it around at people not because I needed their help, but because I wanted to see what opposing views have. You know, you ever do that? You know, you go on to Facebook and you want to see what opposing views are, or what the mentality of how people could like something. You know what I mean? And I thought this song was really whack, and I just want to figure out though why women felt so empowered by it. And of course, I'm talking about WAP, right? The song with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, though, right? Let's what I saw was the offensive defense of women. So if anyone didn't like the song, though, it must mean that that guy doesn't get a lot of WAP. You know what I mean? He doesn't get any wet ass, you know what, right? If he doesn't like the song, it also means this is what happened. This is what happened during the as the day went on and as the days went on since that song. What I then saw was that if you didn't like the song, that also means that you're not for women empowerment and you're not about the sacred feminine. You know what I mean? Wow. You know what I mean? And what a leap. You know what I mean? And here's the thing, right? I remember me, you know, when I had my college radio show, the E and J show, right? We named it the E and J show. I didn't drink E and J at all, but the initials matched up, and my DJ drank it, right? and I put on a song. I actually put on a song because he immediately got mad at me, right? It wasn't a good song, but I kind of just put it on because he's Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? And he gave me a real stern talking to when we're off air. He said, just because they're Puerto Rican, though, and you want to support, though, doesn't mean that you could just put up bad music. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I looked at him, I was like, yeah, you were right. You know what I mean? You're right. You know what I mean? I can't be thinking that Fat Joe's debut album is the greatest album of all time, though, just because it meant a lot, though, in getting Puerto Ricans back in the door, which is a fact. We might talk about that on another segment. That's a fact. It's not a great album. It's a very good album. Beat-wise, it's very strong, right? Because this is a peak Diamond D showbiz beats. You know what I mean, right? And hell, to me, as a G-rap collector, you would collect Fat Joe's album just for his verse on "You Must Be Out Your Fucking Mind," right? G-rap was, people really underestimate the incredibleness of G-rap features. You know what I mean? Man, he really slaughters features. You know what I mean? But that aside, the point was this, right? Imagine Pitbull saying something that was rudimentary on a rudimentary level was true. Like he says, oh, like let's say he had a bar like every time I have sex, though, I breathe like this, and I don't know, he does a breath, and you go, wow, I do that too, like, wow, this guy's a genius. And if you don't like that, you're not empowering men, you know what I mean? That's crazy. I want to know why all these good women out there are putting all their chips on these two donkeys that don't know how to rhyme. You know what I mean? And I saw a good sister equate it and throw up lyrics from misogynist lyrics from all types of rappers. Mainly NWA, Snoop Dogg, couple of Nas. Yeah, Kendrick Lamar. She threw some Kendrick Lamar out there. Misogynist lyrics from all these guys, right? By the way, is there a misogynistic lyric from J. Cole? Like, there any bad lyrics? You know, like evil lyrics, right? He's total snooze button, right? He doesn't have anything like devastating or anything like that, right? I never heard a lyric that was like rugged, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? But you know when they say like this though, when somebody says something or does something that isn't that good, what do we say to that about that person when we still mess with him? We say, you know what? That guy's got a good track record. I'm gonna go keep it there. See, people like Nas though, they got a good track record. So if they have a misogynist lyric, they got a good track record. So we could chalk it up to like, hey, this is the diversity of life. And you know what's funny is that women are so obsessed with their empowerment that they're on an incorrect offensive defense, right? They're on an incorrect offensive defense. So now everything that females do is it has to be impeccable or it has to be saluted in some way. You know what I mean? So go back to this other thing I saw a brother say. He didn't want to be mad. This equates to this whole thing here, right? Let me find it. And I know I'm going all over the place, right? His brother said that he was tired of people hating on like the Cardi B's or Tekashis because, they're doing good things, for themselves, and obviously they mean monetarily, right? Because I know this brother, he doesn't like the music like that. Right? So we shouldn't hate. I don't want to be a hater and stuff, right? And because there are people, that's what he said. There are people. And I told him that those aren't our people. Let's base our people off their lived nature and not their successful deceptions. There'll always be our people, black and brown, who have gifts to cross over. You know what I mean? Gifts. Like, there are people that are rap, that'll sing, and some people will just be able to cross over, as opposed to others that might even be better. That's usually the case, right? But if we accept the terrible road that these precious ones take, then we allow the history to repeat itself. You know what I mean? And we have to call things that are wrong, wrong, things that are right, right, And if we're talking about appreciation for great music, we ought not just ignore things. We can't really ignore things. People want to ignore it and not just throw out hate, but it's trending. That means it's all over. That means the algorithms are throwing it up your ass anyway. So you got to talk about it. You know what I mean? The algorithms are an evil, evil monster. And they're going to throw issues that you don't want to hear anyway. But here's the thing, right? And when it comes to the WAP, right? If we take this song and listen to it without anything, probably the most devastating lyric is that she doesn't clean or cook and still got the ring. You know what I mean? So it may, it plays great as a prequel to RZA's Domestic Violence. Remember Domestic Violence, though? You don't cook, no clean, you don't read the seeds, right? Remember that? But here's the thing, right? Unlike a lot of the more explicit rap back then, this song is it's not really next level. It's the market that it hits and the speed at which it hits the pop market that makes it more next level. So it's pushing the envelope because they have different lanes, they have different markets. You know what I mean? NWA didn't have that market where it becomes a pop single immediately and it's in pop radio play. You know what I mean? And here's the thing. People are talking about and they're lambasting Cardi B and Megan, right? Because the lack of responsibility and stuff, right? And then other people are responding to that as if they're MCs in order to say what they want to. But here's the thing, though. These two entertainers aren't MCs. And they're also not in an MC world. You see? They're not MCs. They're entertainers, though. Like the God said, La Prime, who has a great EP now, by the way, Dark Universe, right? If I remember, right? Dark Arts. I got to get that name right. But let me look it up for you right now as I talk about this. But he said it's good adult entertainment. It's adult entertainment, but here's the problem though with that. It's not being given to adults. It's being given to everybody. It's being given in a pop medium. You know what I mean? So all of that goes out the door again for me as well. You know? And I just say this to the women though. You need female empowerment. Females, just like the MCs, they ought to be able to talk about anything. They ought to be able to say stuff that offends us. You know, a lot of the female MCs, a lot of people assume that, like, if I say something like I like an MC, that they don't say shit that offends me. You know what I mean? The truth is, if you really look at my life, there isn't an MC that relates to my life completely. Because nobody's done what I've done. So who the hell is going to relate to me? Nobody relates to me. And a lot of times, most women, female MCs that are dope, they say a lot of stuff that I don't relate to. You know what I mean? But here's the difference. But here's the truth. I'm not taking those women to bed. So I doubt that every lyric would relate to me. You know what I'm saying? I talked about Merce the Big Body Benz and Chen Noir and Honey De Niro, who all have releases this year, who are way more skilled and talented and dynamic, and all of them are pretty. But they don't all say stuff that I would agree with all the time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's not all stuff that, let's say, if I wrote, I would be writing about. That's the whole thing. The emceeing is so we could go into their world and not just, hear what we want to hear. That's the difference between hip-hop and pop music, right? So enjoy the Lust track. By the way, that Allah Preem, go to Bandcamp. It's called Allah Preem. The album is called Dark Knowledge. Strong set from the God. But anyway, I said so much about this, but I feel like there's not really that much to say. You know what I'm saying? I think that we're respecting hoes a little bit too much. And what I mean by hoes is one note individuals. You know, like this song that they made is exactly what they should be making. This is all they know. You know what I'm saying? Eazy-E, was said to only know a few things, but he got other guys to write stuff for him, so he's a little bit more diverse, right? He wrote, he didn't write those bars on "fuck the police" and things like that, but man, they was like, yo, you can't be this one note. We're gonna write something for you, and they wrote some great stuff, by the way, right? Shh. They wrote incredible stuff for Eazy-E. You know what I mean? Right? Salute Ice Cube. Damn. But I would hope that we wouldn't put all the sacred feminine duties on two hoes. You see what I'm saying? This is what it sounds like, though. Imagine if some if Pitbull started to kick some warrior militant shit. I would laugh though and say he wasn't equipped for it. And then no other brother would tell me, look, you're not really you're disempowering male warriorship by doing that. You know what I mean? if I say, Rick Ross, everything Rick Ross rhymes about though hits me as fake. It's all fake. I don't care if he chose a good beat, which by the way, I think Rick Ross's beat selection is really one of the most overstated realities in all history. You know what I mean? Everything he's done is like, oh wow, he chooses great beats though. And I'm like, I didn't hear primo level stuff. I didn't hear like, oh wow, what sample is that? It blew me away. You know what I'm saying? I didn't hear any of that though. I just in the mainstream, if something knocks though, like it actually has a snare and a bass drum, it gets automatic. Like, wow, this is hard shit. You know what I mean? That's also part of the J. Cole phenomenon. You know what I mean? He's scoring, to me, J. Cole, he scores 15 a game in my MC NBA, 15. That's good, right? 15 points a game? Off the bench, maybe, he gets hot, Who Who's that guy? That went to get the chicken at the strip club. Lou Williams. Yeah, he's like Lou Williams. I give him Lou Williams. You know what I mean? It's all right. He gets a couple of buckets. You know what I mean? But he's not scoring 25, 26. He's not Durant. You know what I mean? He's not Durant level. He's not making Durant level music, right? Let alone Jordan or anything like that. But it's like, man, pick good. Put your sacred feminine hopes, though, and ride it on a horse. A real horse that can rhyme. Don't write it on some cheap 2-bit song. Right? Some 2-bit song and said, well, if you don't like this, like, that's crazy, though. That's like a guy comes out with a song about muscles and stuff. He goes, that's a whack song. He said, you don't want to have big muscles? Oh, so you don't like big muscles. And the girl doesn't like the song, though. He goes, bitch, you don't like big muscles? You like puny guys? This shit doesn't make any sense. You're riding the wrong horses. You know what I mean? It's the wrong horse. You know what I mean? And again, like I said, we judge music. We talk about music like it's fast food. Some of it is fast food, and people go, well, people like fast food. People die with fast food, though. You know what I mean? People die eating fast food, right? Like Fast Food Nation. That guy became an asshole. Remember that documentary? That was the funny part of the documentary, though. He was being an asshole. Remember he was in the couch and he was dissing his woman, right? That McDonald's turned him into a dick. Here's the thing, though. I call this episode the Woe-man build. I'm being an ass. The woe man. The woe of man. Because a lot of you women know you're riding on horses that got no truth to it. Let me give you an example, right? The other big story was Jaguar Wright. I don't know if you heard this. Right? Heard about Jaguar Wright, and she made an album. I think it was a good album. It was good in the neo soul movement of the late '99 and all that, and Soulquarians. It was a good album. It was a good album. I actually liked it. You know what I mean? And when Malik B, Remembered Imperfection, Malik B, very good MC. And a lot of people don't know. The first thing I'm going to say about Malik B, he never lost his MC skills. Malik B actually made albums after The Roots. And he came back strong and made some powerful boom bap stuff. And I mean that's in the most honorable way. You know what I mean? Worth every penny that you spend to get in your collection. You know what I mean? And so he had all the flows, all of that, right? But here's the thing. And Jaguar Wright made a lot of claims, about Common and, sexual assault charges that she did with Common, that some of it doesn't make sense to me, some of it. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the major point that I have here. My major point, though, is that everything has track record. And I'm saying this, though, because the people who build a track record are those who have careers. If I say something, me, Sunez, if I say something, it's because I have a track record of listening to music for a long time. A lot of people can say that they're hip-hop enthusiasts and all of that. But the truth is, they probably most likely haven't heard all that I've heard. They most likely haven't been there for the stories behind the songs that they are enjoying. But I have. They haven't heard the stories retold about how certain songs are made. But I have. There's a track record you gotta respect. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about Jaguar Wright in this case as far as the sexual assault charges, though. I gotta listen to it more closely because I didn't get, and the problem was I didn't listen to the whole IG live for those parts, because I think there were two that she had posted. But in the articles that I read recapping it, I was under the impression that she actually was dating Common. So then she was feeling that it was going to be rape if Common was about to, put that, throw that glizzy on her, But I don't know. I thought they was together. You know what I'm saying? So wouldn't it just be a bad play as opposed to sexual assault? I don't know. I, her just spitting out these things, though, they have to be more. They came off a little muddled. But I want to give you two instances. Jaguar Wright the first, and another instance that also is something women need to check on, and they need to really do the knowledge because it's not really helping female empowerment. And I'm talking about female empowerment not for these women that are out here. I'm talking about female empowerment for all of our daughters, my two daughters, all the daughters out there, right? Jaguar Wright already hit me off by saying the wrong thing immediately. And it was hard to believe anything else she was saying because of her anger about Malik B. And it wasn't because she was angry about the way they treated Malik B. There was no addressing the fact that in all the documented history of the Roots, Malik B was no longer in the group because he was using drugs and no longer consistent as a consistent artist on the road. And a lot are people forgetting that the Roots are not a regular group that just goes on the road. They were, as a hip hop group, known in only groups like Public Enemy and maybe, I can't even think. I can only equate it with Public Enemy, because when Wu-Tang tries to even go on the road, they usually fail miserably in the consistency of their dates. But the Roots at one time, though, were touring. They were touring for years and doing 300 plus days a year out on tour. Malik B, maybe because of the drug problem and other things, it just wasn't the lifestyle. I could understand that. It couldn't be my lifestyle either. You know what I mean? I wouldn't really enjoy it on many levels as well. Of course, on many levels, I wouldn't enjoy that myself. Malik B was then no longer part of the Roots. She doesn't address any of this stuff. And I didn't open the can of worms, though. I didn't open the can of worms, though, about his past, about his drug use, all that kind of stuff. That was her who opened it because she felt they should have honored him more. I don't know. That's a good judgment call from her because she has a right to judge that and whatever it was. But you know what's interesting? I'll tell you this. We always want to honor people that passed away. But what happened was that there was more trash talking about the people that were here that didn't honor him as opposed to, well, what did she say that actually honors him? Not trying to put her out there like that and be critical, but I have to be critical here. You see? She put so much dirt out about the Roots and about the Soulquarians, even Erykah Badu threw some stuff at her, you know what I mean? Saying the song Booty was about her, you know what I mean? Erykah Badu's Booty song was about her because Jaguar Wright supposedly had a bigger booty than Erykah Badu. Now that is something to see here, right? I'm just saying because I don't know Jaguar Wright's booty, but we all saw Erykah Badu's, and that was, sufficient, sufficient. Right? Is that a good word, sufficient? Right? You know what? The thing that bothered me, right, is that Jaguar Wright immediately opened this up saying that Malik B was the genius behind the Roots, which I disagree with because musically, the Roots are really there. For all the obsession I have, though, with focusing on the MC, the Roots are really a band led musically. And the eclectic, the extremely schooled nature and legacy and history that Questlove holds is enormous. Okay? Read the books about Questlove. Read his books and his autobiographies and stuff. Questlove's musical knowledge is at another level. I'll put it like this. Questlove's musical catalog of the music that he just owns, things that he's bought, makes my collection look pedestrian. You know what I mean? And I can fill them up. You know what I mean? So she also said this. She said that Black Thought, I don't know if my producer knows this because Black Thought is a favorite of ours. She said Black Thought isn't really that good. And that he hasn't been writing anything since Malik B left. And Now, the Roots albums for the last since 2006, 7. Let's say 7, not Game Theory. Black Thought rhymed a lot in Game Theory, and that's a great Roots album. Malik B wasn't there, but right? Since 2007 album, the one after that, I remember the cover, but I can't remember the name. Black Thought verses have been less because they've tried to make it an ensemble. This is something that they plan. If you read up about the Roots and you're a fan, leading up to it, they give you a lot of information. Unlike other groups, because Questlove is such a musical, is obsessed with music and the study of music, he gives you a lot in his interviews and in his pre-interviews about albums. They were using the Roots albums as an ensemble and building a brand as opposed to just making it a band, a band with Black Thought. So they didn't want it to be Maze featuring Frankie Beverly, right? That's what they didn't want the Roots to be Maze featuring Frankie Beverly, because every Maze song is Frankie Beverly singing, right? Which is a great thing, I'm just saying. And that's what I wish I could hear more Black Thought. But in the last couple of albums, if you go back and listen and read, go to yourgenius.coms, right? And read Black Thought's verses, and they are stellar. They're not average. They're not, oh, wow, Malik B's not here. He wrote some, just some battle bars. They're not battle bars. There's some real deep stuff. They're layered. They're topical. They're clever. Intricate stuff. So here's the thing I'm saying, though. Did Black Thought's ability to perform lessen since Malik B left? He virtually became one of the all-time great performers in hip-hop history. Let's keep it real. Black Thought is one of the greatest all-time MC performers in history. And that's so important that you actually have to add in the things he does on Fallon that display it. He even displays it on a pop show, a pop variety show, because that's really what Fallon is, right? Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. So I'm saying what she said is outright incorrect. So now she said something incorrect. Where's her track record now? See, that's the problem I have. Now I'm going to go back in history, though. And I'm going to go into one of the technically great writers, acclaimed writers in hip-hop journalist history. Dream Hampton. Right? When I was reading her stuff, I was going, how come they don't let me write whatever the hell I want to write like she does? That was my issue. I was like, how come she gets to write these long synopses and gets to go long and artsy on pieces, and everything I write gets chucked back? Most likely I didn't have the ins and I wasn't as good yet. But Dream Hampton, for those that don't know, she basically ghost wrote Jay-Z's Decoded. You know what I mean? I don't know. Am I snitching here? Am I dry snitching here? Right? It's about Jay-Z, though. I get to do that. You know what I mean? It has context, what I'm going to say, though. Dream Hampton also said, after Jay-Z's Decoded came out, that Nas had his verses ghost written for him on the Untitled album, and that Stickman was one of the people writing those lyrics. Right? Now let's be honest, though. Are you kidding me? You see what I'm saying? Now, of course, Stickman, everybody involved vehemently denied it. When you listen to the Untitled album, though, it's nothing past any of the genius that he would display constantly throughout his career. Again, track record is the key phrase today. And all the women that want to empower themselves are always going to be women until they realize track record. Here's the problem, though, right? We're empowering. Part of our empowerment is not complete. Women are being honest. Women are telling. They're on their Me Too movement. They're saying everything that's happened to them. This guy did this to me. That guy did that to me. Right? And they ought to speak up about it, right? Sometimes, the truth is that they have to. But we have to admit that we're now on the next stage. We're at the next stage, though, that it's all what we us the gods, we say, this is all wisdom knowledge. Because when you say something happened, you have no proof that something happened. And then when we go back, though, and it makes no damn sense, you lose your ability to have a track record. You see? If women want to empower themselves, they're going to have to develop a track record of excellence. It sounds messed up, right? I sound messed up. They go through hell in life. Sexual assault, sexual disrespect, all types of sexual offenses. And I'm saying that they have to have a track record. I'm not talking about individual women. I'm talking about women in general. They're going to have to build themselves up as a force where their word actually can be shown and proven. Because it's a terrible effort. It's a terrible effort when we're supposed to believe women and they say outlandish shit. Nas is ghostwritten. Black Thought doesn't write any bars anymore. And the guy has done about 10 albums since. Literally rocked the world on television and tour for years and years and years. Come on. You're losing credibility here. We need to have credibility when we're building. We need to have credibility when we're speaking on things. You see? And aside from the other commentary that women aren't really going to go anywhere in empowering themselves if they're just going to do what men do. Right? Or I get to be an asshole like a man. Or I get to do this because men did it, though. And they just want to do the shady shit that men did. You see what I'm saying? It seems like that in a lot of ways. Right? But on that last note, it all comes down to this. The whole WAP thing ended up being a female empowerment build. It really is about sellouts. And as the legendary AG, Andre the Giant of showbiz and AG, Peace of the God, said, sellouts got no worth. I think they better go soul search. That's it. That's all I said. These hoes are out there showing their ass. They do their whole second verse, though, in a split with the ass cheeks out. And I'm supposed to watch it with respect? I don't have to respect that. You know what I'm saying? I saw Hammer, and we had to see his glizzy for the whole video. Remember that? I lost all respect. What did they say? Because they think that only women go through this. What records were they burning? Were burning bitches with attitude? No, they weren't. Remember that group, Bitches with Problems or something like that? No, they weren't burning those. When Salt and Pepper did Push It, right? Which is, we know what it's about. Nobody said we got to ban this record or nothing like that. They said, female empowerment. And it wasn't a hip-hop song. Sorry. Push It is not a hip-hop song. It's a pop song with rap elements in it. And again, choose your horses, though, because if you thought Salt and Pepper were your rappers, though. Right? Right, but how much raps they got? Give me a bar. Give me a salt bar. Give me a pepper bar. Right? And go silent. So the thing is, I think in a lot of ways, right, we have an acceptance and we accept a limited insider perspective when it comes to people making music that really should be criticized, and the art in general that should be criticized, because we have a fear of us doing that too. We have a fear of our own hypocrisy, and by doing that, we expect ourselves to be weak. So we accept, check this out though, we accept wickedness, bad music, bad quality, stealing, biting, all that. We accept wickedness that succeeds because we assume that we may be weak just like that. So that means it's really our issue, right? We expect ourselves to be weak, right? Let's better go get in that. Maybe the fans need some 120 out there, right? But with that said, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to transition, though. I got a really good, I'm going to end the show with a really good segment. 2 segments, though, right? Actually, I'm going to skip that segment. Let's skip that segment. I'll save it for another time. And since we're talking about, because there's a lot of outlandish stuff, right? And I'm going to do this regularly, right? I'm going to call this segment Trampling Tweets. You know what I mean? Where I find tweets, though, that say some outlandish shit, that's some dumb shit about the music. You know what I mean? You know, like, and there'll be some deeper ones, not like where, you know, the typical where people go, Drake is a legend. You know? Don't at me, you know? You know, those kind of dumb tweets. Not basic shit that's easy, you know what I mean? But here's the false statement tweet that's going to go into some other stuff, right? Check this out. This is actually tweeted, though. He said this like he was a legitimate musical mind, though. You know what I mean? He said 1992. Let's see what my producer thinks. 1992 to 1994, right? Snoop Dogg, 92 to 94, Snoop Dogg. So that's the Chronic all through Doggy Style. Is possibly the greatest MC stretch ever. Talk about some outlandish. And that's not where he ended either. Check out this. He said, 92, 94 Snoop is greater than 94, 96 Nas. Man, whatever Snoop was smoking for Doggy Style, this kid smoked it. You know what I mean? Because this kid, you know, like the way Snoop stumbles back into the house at the end of G Thing? This kid was stumbling like that when he wrote this damn tweet. The silliness. The outlandishness of a damn tweet like this, right? I'm going to save this for you on another, maybe on the next show, of what I think are the longest and greatest MC runs of all time, right? Because I think that there are runs, the greatest runs are actually extend almost 10 years. To me, the greatest MC run of all time, to me, is about 10 years long. And I'm not going to name it. I'll wait for the next show. But I'm going to give you some, and give you some other long runs. But I want to give you some multiple year runs that destroy that. But let's first talk about Nas. So Snoop Dogg Nas, right, who has a flow. He has a flow, right, for shizzle and nizzle, all that flow, right? He has the hits in Doggy Style. G Thing, right? We all could sing along, though, right? We play any song, we're all going to carry. We could karaoke these things. We grew up with this stuff, you know what I mean? But you're telling me that Illmatic and all the entire album of quotables, a song called New York State of Mind that Razkaz, one of the greatest MCs of all time, said that New York State of Mind is the perfect hip-hop song as far as MCing. Made no mistakes. I'm saying that's what Razkaz said. And Razkaz has songs that could be in the running for perfect song. So you're telling me, now let's talk about Nas though, 94, Illmatic. They got books about it. I'm not going to talk about Illmatic. They got books about it though. Get the Dyson book, right? They perform this with a classical orchestra, right? On PBS. You watching Nas do Illmatic on PBS, right? But check this out. Check out the remind everybody about the 95 run, because he said 94 to 96. 95, Nas did these singles. Some of these singles are better than Snoop's whole career. I'm just name some that aren't, that I loved. 1-on-1, Street Fighter soundtrack. Remember that? 1-on-1. 1+1, Large Professor. With Large Professor on the unreleased album he never got out. Give It Up Fast, 96 with Mobb Deep. These are the lesser songs, and they're all great. Mo Money, Mo Murder with AZ. Come on. He's killing them already. But check out these essential classic songs you need in your collection. Fast Life with G-Rap. Are you kidding me? What the hell does Snoop Dogg have to rival that? Back and forth with another guy. Oh yeah, how about Eye for an Eye? Seminal song. Seminal. You don't have Eye for an Eye and that whole infamous album though. Your collection is shit. It's weak. And then one of the greatest verses of all time, Verbal Intercourse. That's it. Close the book. Close the book. 95 Nas is greater than 92 to 94 Snoop to me. Because Snoop can't do those things. He can't say those things. He never could. Now, as far as technical ability, Snoop is at the tip-top tier, right? Top level. No one flows better than that. No one has. You can only match the charisma, but come on, Nas. And then I'm not even talking about It Was Written. Come on. You could legitimately. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it, and I don't agree with it because of musical level. On a musical level. But people still argue whether It Was Written is greater than Illmatic. And lyrically, Nas was getting better, more intricate on a lot of levels. Although musically, though, nothing with Trackmasters is ever going to beat any album with Pete Rock, Primo, and Large Pro. But he said Snoop had the greatest, possibly the greatest run ever. That's a good run. It's a good run. But it's nothing close to Prodigy 95, 96. Remember Prodigy 95, 96? Everything he was touching. I'm not even going to give you the appearances, though. I'm just going to say Infamous, Hell on Earth. Where is this kid's collection box? Where's his collection? Did he delete this shit by accident? Did he delete his records by accident? How about this one that people don't know? Ice Cube, 90 to 91. America's Most Wanted in 1990. Then he releases Kill at Will. By the way, for those that don't know, Kill at Will, the EP, is the first hip-hop EP to go platinum. Right? There's a fun fact. And then, possibly one of the greatest top 5 solo albums of all time, Death Certificate. Right? That run is also better than Snoop. Snoop is not even close to that run. Come on. It's not even close. Also a run that people are kind of forgetting, though. Rakim, 87 to 88. Paid in Full and Follow the Leader. I don't know how much I have to stress, though, but every single bar in Paid in Full is a hip-hop quotable. And it is probably the most quoted album of all time. You know, if we were to say, right? Those 7 songs that Rakim rhymes on, I Ain't No Joke, My Melody, I Know You Got Soul, Move the Crowd, Paid in Full, his rhyme goes on, Eric B is president. No, only Nas's Illmatic has a run that can match that. In this run here, that can match that. You know what I mean? Then 98's Follow the Leader, Microphone Fiend, Lyrics of Fury, The R, Musical Massacre. Come on. Another great run. By the way, here's a run to think about. We talk about impact, and since Snoop is more of a pop encroaching MC, or an MC, but was in the pop world, or was crossing over, not really in the pop world, but was crossing over. What about Tupac 95, 96? Because Tupac 95, 96 has Me Against the World, and then All Eyes on Me. So for that time period, that's a lot of work. You know? At least 3 albums worth of work. It's a lot of work. And for the influence and for the diversity of just the differences between those 2 albums, because All Eyes on Me, like any double album, you could say is bloated. But there's a lot of classics on that album. And now that we can let go of the fact that Tupac, you know, his life and, you know, at the time when it was released, we might be mad at what he was doing, when he was savaging. But when we look at his whole career, right? No, he was in 96, you know what I mean? We wished he wasn't doing all that because he had such genius. But there are a lot of jewels on that 96 album. Great MCing. And Me Against the World is an essential album. Another great run. MF Doom 2004. Now, he just finished 2003 with, King Ghidorah, Take Me to Your Leader, Victor Vaughn, Villain. But these two albums, M.M. Food, and of course the seminal classic of classics, Mad Villainy, and you can add in there the Victor Vaughn Venomous Villain EP. If you're a real Doom fan and collector, you got that. Just those two albums, though, he was dominating that whole 2004. You know what I mean? And it's 2004 that solidified his legacy as an absolute cult figure. And from 99 to 2004, we also could say that that is one of the great MC runs for an MC, when it comes to Doom. And if we talk about single years, I could say a single year I'd put ahead of Snoop. Ghostface 2000. Not only for the obvious impact on all levels of the pioneering impact, or I'd say pushing the envelope impact of abstract rhymes and techniques of Supreme Clientele, Ghostface dominated the W album. You know what I mean? He dominated. The Careful, Hollow Bones, and I've seen him perform this live. Back then he was performing it like a soul singer. Let's do Hollow Bones, and then I saw You God put the robe on him, like James Brown while he was kneeling. It was, just, come on, man. Soul music. Ja World, his verse on Can't Go to Sleep. I mean, this is next level. Quickly, some other runs. Hellraiser was one of the great MCs of the 2000s. His 07 to 08 run. Renaissance Child and Raises Ladder with Blue Sky, Black Death doing the beats. Those are great albums. Incredible albums. Then, my favorite work in 2008 of his, Welcome to Red Hook Houses, when he was Thug Angels with Shabazz the Disciple. And then he also released a very high quality album later, Ultrasounds of a Renaissance Child. That's got to be up there in the runs. And a run for you to think about. And I'll end it here. There's more runs. I might give you more when we do the longer runs. Right? I'll say quickly RZA 97. I'll say Sean P 2012. Because Mike Tyson and everything Sean P did, he was a superstar. He was a superstar everywhere. Remembered in perfection, our brother. But Killer Priest 2009. I'm going to end it there. Killer Priest 2009 is probably one of the most biggest amounts of qualitative lyrical work you'll ever hear. Albums worth. Untold Story, Walter Reed, I Killed the Devil Last Night, The Exorcist, Elizabeth, and then these unreleased albums, Eternal Thought of Killer Priest Parts 1 and 2. Killer Priest was a monster in 2009, and no one noticed. No one noticed. You know what I mean? Whew. But with that said, hopefully all women don't hate me. You know what I mean? I know that my daughters will love me, so it don't matter. And next week we're going to talk about a lot of great works. We're going to talk about Raz Fresco and all the albums he's doing. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff and take it back up to today. But until next time, there'll be a lot more stories to tell, writings to recite, and records to rewind and reminisce. I'm your host, Suni Zala, a.k.a. Skiller Straight Low. And as always, the Power Right Show is a never respect fake broadcast. Peace.